All right, party people. Give y'all a moment to roll on up in here. All right, let's see how this thing gonna flow. All right. Mm-mm. Let me find this stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Got two different views going on with this here. Okay. Yeah, you got two different views. Got a vertical view and the normal horizontal view. So I'm testing it out and seeing what we can do here. So try to get more and more engagement. Yeah, man, got the haircut today. Wife hooked me up and everything. Um I actually had time because my 3 o'clock appointment got canceled. And today I had to drive an hour and a half to go to my 10 a.m. appointment. Actually wound up being 10:30. And I ended up being out there with that guy for like 2 hours on this property. The property was built in 1784. He gave me a tour of the whole thing. Well, about 30% of it. It seemed like the whole thing, but it was big. And we were just out there kicking. Gave me peacock feathers. Seriously, gave me peacock feathers. Like, hey, and they had real live peacocks on the land. Now, when I'm out there, I don't take pictures of people's stuff unless they initiate and say I can. So I don't go around asking, hey, let me take pictures of your property, or I don't do that. But he gave me a whole bunch of peacock feathers, real live peacock feathers. And then his wife gave me a whole bag of pecans, which this is just a little bit of them. But a whole bag of pecans, and or I guess other folks say pecans, but nonetheless, I love them and everything. So yeah, I had a good time out there today. Really, really had a nice time. Enjoyed myself out there, and let me scoot over just a touch. So yeah, I had a real good time out there. No issues whatsoever. Drove there, came back, got paid good. I'm glad I took the order. I'm glad I, went out there. Um, because with my other order canceling, and then I had a Ron that canceled. So I would have made man, between them two, I would have made almost 600, well, over 600 bucks today. Didn't do it because the Ron got canceled because they had some conflicts with that. It was supposed to happen yesterday, conflicts from yesterday, conflicts today. And this is working with a direct client, and then supposed to happen now on Monday. So we're gonna see. Um the other one that was supposed to be at 3 o'clock got completely canceled. So I ended up only with one appointment. And it's been real slow with the what is that with the house inspections. If I got $200 worth, that'll be great. But I know I don't even have that amount. So things have been really, really, really um interesting. But yeah, it's a serious historical spot out there, man. That thing was nice. And yes, it was worth some money. Let me just put it to you that way. It was worth some money. And so I went on out there, got that man taken care of. And he invited me and my wife to stay out there with them. Two, three, four, five. Six. I ain't even got $200 worth of house inspections this month. So it is slow. This is why I'm taking all these other orders. And if I got to drive an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and they're going to pay me the money, it's going to make up for what I'm not getting with the house inspections. They're going, with the Ron that I'm doing. each time they cancel, I have to, I add a fee to it, a small fee to it for each time. There's like a $25 fee um to it. And I'm being told, the company, they say, hey, add a fee because we're ready to rock and roll. There's just a conflict and they got some stuff to work out. And I'm glad they don't tell me. So fortunately, they didn't tell me what the deal was. So whatever the problem is, it is. I just keep going and doing what they want me to do when they want me to do it. So give me a real quick, y'all. What do y'all think is the outlook for next year? What do y'all think is going to happen within the notary realm? And it's not necessarily about loan closings with the mortgages. It could be anything. And I'm not talking about for you, but I'm talking about in general. What do you think is going to pop off or go away or reappear in the notary business? Because it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people saying stuff. And oh, and that guy, his house, he's the third owner in 300 years. That's how long that house was in that family. So, and they've only been in there for about 2 years. So 64 acres. Very, very, very nice. I'm like, this is my kind of place. I'm serious. You out there. When I say you out there in the boonies, you are out there. There's nobody around whatsoever. It's all over. Oh yeah, man, that pinball, man, I was throwing down on that bad boy. And then the T-Mobile lady in the Sam's Club, she challenged me. Because she was standing over there and she was looking, and when I finished, she turned the left like, I want to look. And I said, oh, you checking me out? She's like, yeah, you beat my high score. She said, I said, well, whenever you want to go. And she was like, well, I'll be here Sunday. I said, you know what? I might have to swing back over here and take you on. So if I have time on Sunday, I'm gonna go back to the Sam's Club and I'm gonna challenge her and play against her in the on that pinball machine. And now the cool part about it, it's all digital. I don't know if y'all could pick that up in the video, but that is not, it doesn't have the real flippers, the manual, the actual physical. It's a flat, the whole thing digital. The ball that's flying around in there digital, everything was 100% digital. I was like, and it looked very, very real. The flow of the ball, all of that, the flipper action was very realistic because I grew up on pinball machines. So I was in it and I kept having to lean because there was a light and it was putting a glare on it and I couldn't see where that ball was going. So I had to keep leaning in order for me to see it. But I was like, I could stay there all night. That thing, $1,100. And yeah, I'm like, woo, but I got to be responsible with my money. But don't be surprised if you see it in here one day. you see, you see it back there. Yeah, it was steep. It was real steep. I was like, $1,100. I was like, I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm not gonna mess with it. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So let me see something. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, snap. They got a couple of them. Hold on. Hold on. Now, I don't know how this is going to share on my smaller screen. Okay, there it is. But yeah, as y'all see, they got three. So the one I was on was the Ninja Turtle one. That was 1,100, and then they got a 1,500, and then okay, so I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's nice, but that whole thing there is digital. It's a digital screen that you playing on, and it's pretty cool. So I don't know if they got different you know layouts and stuff, but yeah, I was like, I wouldn't mind getting one of those. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't mind hopping on there and getting one of those. So, but no. So my man Caprina said the notary business will be great next year. Now, in what aspect? Well, at least for people who are willing to do the work. True, you work hard, Griff. Report yourself as long as Mrs. is cool. Yeah, you're right about that, Joe. Yeah, she know me. She know me. She already know my mind is already like, I got to make sure all this is done. That's financially taken care of. That financially taken care of. If that price drops just enough, then I got to hop on Amazon and see if Amazon got the pinball machine. And if Amazon got the pinball machine, I might think about hopping on it and all of that. And I'm looking now, and so far I don't see that one. I see like a little tabletop pinball machine, but not. Oh, there it is. Ooh, okay. Okay, this here is the actual arcade. This is the actual real one. This is not the computer screen one. And that one's for 9 grand. Yeah, $9,000. Nah, Griff ain't gonna do that. Now, honestly, if I had the money, I would. And they got one for 6 grand. Mm-mm-mm. These are the real arcade, the Pro Edition arcade. Oh, that's King Kong. I remember that one. Yeah. All right, y'all. So I think rates will continue to drop because the economy is going to, right. I know you've been talking about the interest rates. Yeah, the interest rates will drop, which means there's going to be greater opportunity for us to do work and everything. Next year, well, I never seen a digital one. Yeah, that digital one. Go to the Sam's Club. That thing is sweet. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes to realize that it wasn't a real one. And I was sitting there and I was like, wait a minute. I said, this thing looked too flat. I was like, where's the stuff wrapped? That thing awesome. So now all the notaries will be up in Sam's Club tomorrow playing pinball. I'm serious. But one of the things that I think is going to happen is that people are going to start being a little more decisive about the training they get. They're going to be more concerned about how they're getting trained and who they're getting trained from. And they're not going to just accept and take everybody's word for it. They're going to hold people more accountable. That's what I believe, because the TMCs are asking for more and more money. They're asking for more and more out of you. They're asking for more and more of a commitment from these notary students to them, but yet they're not giving them any work. So somebody who is not able to put money into your pocket, they want more from you. So that means after a while, you're going to have to require more from them. I think people are going to start requesting more specialized training, meaning more specific training for what a notary needs to know, instead of just the constant, oh, hey, market, get Google Business, get Canva. That's played out. It's, how do I make sure I know how to do my job as a notary? And that's been the great thing about the notary certificate training I've been doing, because people are now feeling more confident out there. People are going to want, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think people are going to start demanding this part. I think people are going to start demanding that these trainers, these TMCs, really provide them support, and not just in word only, and not just in deflecting to a Facebook group of other notaries, but no, I'm paying you, so therefore I want you to support me. I need help. I need people who are really going to help me be good in this business, just on a good level, not even saying great, just being good. And no more of this deflecting onto somebody else who I'm not even paying. They just sort of like, okay, because they like you and they're all enthroned with you, they're gonna start, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna help you out. I'm the, the New Jersey Facebook group moderator. Do you know your notary laws? Well, no, people are like, I ain't got time for that. If I'm paying you, I want you to help me. That's one thing that now, whether it will happen, that's a different story. But I think that demand is going to come. People are going to start wanting the person who they're paying to actually be available to them, or really have a serious team that can help them and not just send word only, okay, but actually help them. I think you're going to have more people trying to get notaries riled up about what they deem is unfair practices in this business, but they're not going to have a real plan. And we're already seeing that with some people. It's a constant whining about what they're not getting, but nobody can really answer the question of how we're supposed to get it. So before tonight, I had posted on TikTok about who do we petition, because people keep talking about we need to petition for a variety of things that happen for notaries. Okay, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but who do we petition to? They want us to petition somebody, but who is that somebody? Do we go to the state? And are we asking the state to intervene into private businesses and say, this is how you're going to handle and deal with the notary, you Mr. or Miss Private Business? Is that what you want the government to do? And if the government can't do it, then how do we get the lawmakers to step in and say, okay, this is an unfair practice, and we need to come in and we need to regulate you, mortgage industry, and y'all are going to do this for these notaries. The question is, are the people who are asking for this going to be in this thing for the next 5 years? Or are they here just for the time being? And then when things seem to go slow or whatever, they out. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of that. So again, the question is, and no one would answer this question: who do we go and snitch to? Because that's essentially what we're doing. We snitching. We're like, hey, they ain't doing this. Who we snitching to? Who has the power to change? And I'm not talking about this. Okay, yeah, we just gonna boycott. Okay, yeah, we boycott. Now that puts the consumer at odds with us, because it's like, okay, we need the notaries to do their job, but y'all are complaining that you're not getting paid enough, which I'm the one who's paying you, because the consumer is the one that's paying the notary fee. And it's a part of the closing cost, but people want the closing, they want what we get paid to be excluded from the closing cost. All of that is the closing cost, whether it's under the title fee or it's separate as a line item. That's the closing cost. That is the closing cost. So none of this is making sense to me. And I think there's going to be more and more rhetoric of people trying to get us hyped up concerning something that they don't have a solution to. And it's not even an idea, it's just statements of what they don't like, but there's nothing that says, okay, here's how we get it done. And as I always say, you have all of these as individual title lender companies. How do we get all of them to agree to say we're going to pay you this fee? Because that means our association, the Notary Association, has to get into a contract with the Lender Association, which means the people in this Lender Association all have to agree that the notaries should be paid this fee. Well, what about the people who are not a part of the Notary Association? I mean, the Lender Association. What if you have these outliers? These folk over here saying, I don't want to be part of that. We got our own thing going on. We'll negotiate our own fees with the notary because we might think they're too high. We might think they're too low. We might not, we may think that there's some conditions in there that we don't really agree with. So we don't want to be a part of that. So what happens if you got 30% of the companies that don't want to be a part of it? How do we negotiate with them? So all of these are things that I think about with this instead of just saying, pay me my money. We got to think about that. I think a lot of the trainers, the smart trainers are going to adjust and realize, hey, I need to teach more than just the standard Google Business, Canva, get a website, marketing 102, 105, 2012, and actually find out what is the problem with the people and help them out. Those who are smart and capable of doing that. The others, they might start falling off, or they might just continue to just keep pushing that bull crap out there. If you're smart, you're going to have to adjust and pivot and like, okay, wait a minute. The notaries ain't falling for that trick no more. The banana in the tailpipe. They ain't falling for that. They want some real education. They want some real help. That's what they want. It's still a lot of notaries out here that don't understand when there's when the document has a different venue listed that they can line through initial and change it. I talk about that in the notary certificate training. But for some reason, there are notaries out here who still don't understand that. And there's no shame. It's like, hey, okay, whoever you got training from did not teach that. And I think this upcoming year, the smart notary trainers are going to have to start teaching that kind of stuff. They're going to have to expand themselves and start teaching notary certificates. If they choose not to, then that's on them. But we got to get more than just Google My Business, things of that nature. We really got to start understanding our laws because there's more and more fraud going on out there. I share with y'all the story how I go to the people, I call them to confirm. We'll say their last name is Smith. I say, yeah, all y'all need to have is your driver's license, unexpired driver's license. Oh man, my wife's driver's license expired. My cough dropped. Yeah, her driver's license expired, and I think her passport is in her current name, but not her married name. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean current name? They're married. On the title, on the order, it says Smith. For him, for her. Earl Smith, Evelyn Smith. But her actual last name legally is Evelyn Williams. She hadn't done the name change yet. We got to learn how to deal with that kind of stuff and recognize when there's a problem. They got it fixed. They had her sign in her maiden name. When I got the documents, they did a deed of gift, sending the title of the property back to Evelyn Williams instead of being Evelyn Smith, because there was no legal name transfer or change for her. And they said they went to the bank, they did it, and guess what? Nobody checked their IDs or any of that. They just like, oh yeah, we know y'all, we good. Then I had an order where the lady's ID was expired since 2023. They bought a house in 2024. She has no driver's license or state ID, no passport. How do you buy a house with no ID that's not expired? They get to me, yeah, this is from 2023. I can't roll with that. The title coming like, wait a minute, we got what now? I said, yeah, this is what's going on. So they bought the house in 2024. Driver's license expired in 2023. Now they refinancing in 2025. What information did you give the title company or the lender in processing this application? Oh, they didn't ask for any information. They just took what was on the file What was in the file? Well, it couldn't. You had no ID that was in the file, no valid ID that wasn't expired. This is the kind of stuff that we need to be educated on. This is what needs to be talked about. But when you have TMCs out there that are not out there in the field, they can't educate you on this kind of stuff. When you have people who don't do loan closings and don't like loan closings and admittedly don't like loan closings, I'm sorry. I have a hard time following somebody who doesn't like what I do. You would never want your spouse to take advice from somebody who doesn't care for marriage. You would never want your kids to be getting advice from somebody who don't think parents have a right to say something in their child's life, that their child should just be free to run around. You wouldn't go for it. You'd be like, no. You can't be associated with that. Nor am I going to be friends with somebody or associates with somebody who does not believe in the things that I'm doing. Now, you may not fully understand it. Okay, cool. You may not agree with it. But if you're going to get to the point where you're putting down what I'm doing, but then you come up, you there to help me, how can you help me in something you don't care for? That means there's some kind of agenda. You said it's not a scam. What's not a scam? I don't forget what I said. But that's the thing. And I'm sorry, y'all can have your little brother man moments and sister girl moments and black folk moments and white folk moments with all of this stuff. But business is business. And when you have people out there who have admitted for 2-3 years that they don't like an aspect of the notary business that you are doing, you can never advocate for me. Because what I want to see from you is actually doing it. In other words, one of the things that I think is going to change in this year, people are going to really hold these folk who are running off at the mouth about all this change and stuff. They're going to hold them accountable. That's like, yeah, that will be like me talking about, hey, I'm going to teach y'all apostille when I've admitted that I don't really care for it. I've admitted that I do not care too much for apostille. I've admitted I'm not the biggest fan of general notary work. So why would I teach you a course on how to get general notary work when I've admitted out of my mouth what I don't like? And I'm gonna say this, and you can get angry with me if you want, and you can unsubscribe and leave me alone if you want. But anybody who follows behind somebody who admits that they don't like the thing that I do, or you do, you're a fool. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be funny, but this is real. And one of the things that my mom and pop always taught me, they said a fool and their money will soon part. And when you start believing and running behind people just because there's some type of, you think some kind of kindredship, oh man, yeah, Griffin one of them brothers like me. Oh man, Sharonda's one of them ladies like me. Oh yeah, we come from Chicago. Oh yeah, we from down south. Bump all that. I don't care about your lineage. Are you telling the truth? Are you spitting real knowledge? And do you have a real plan? Because if you don't, and that's what I think people are going to be like, okay, I hear you, but where's the plan? In other words, in 2026, I think people are going to be held more accountable. Right now, y'all not holding people accountable. Y'all just follow, okay, they said they got a way to get us more money. But you're not holding them accountable to explain the plan. Give me the plan. I keep saying, where are the attorneys? Because you tell me, as much as I run my mouth on YouTube, do you really, really have confidence that I could handle myself fully the way it needs to be handled legally against the NNA, Villa Title, Carrington Mortgage, or any of them. Because who are they going to pull out? Their attorneys. So they're going to pull out the big guns, their attorneys. I don't believe that I can handle myself. The only thing that I think I can do is state my view. But I don't have the knowledge in the background of the entity formations or any of that to be able to stand there without attorney representation and address them and deal with them and try to get them to adjust their thinking. Because you can say a lot of things that's cool and that, oh yeah, that makes sense. But am I legally required to follow it? Mr. Griffin, that's nice what you said there. But we're not legally required because we're following the law. The law states this. Now I need an attorney. Okay, Mr. and Miss Attorney, they said this. How do I don't, at that point, I just know how I feel. And my feelings aren't law. My feelings make sense, but they don't make law. To a certain degree, they might inspire or somewhat move, but at the end of the day, there's no legal precedence for me to follow your feelings. So we got to get out of this. And I think people are going to start being more mature in 2026 about business in general. So they're going to stop just randomly taking courses just to be taking them. They're going to stop randomly going to events just to be going to the event. Like, I'm in the house. Hey, okay, that's nice you're in the house, but then you ain't taking care of your real house. They're going to start requiring more of these trainers. They're going to start requiring them to be open and honest, truly support them. Yeah, that's what I believe. The trainers, they're going to be requiring it like, hey, so this is where we're at now. And people want the truth. And they're going to be like, you know what? I need to get better at business and get out of my emotions and go out here and be a real business owner and not an emotional business owner. And then actually have a conversation. Because see, here's what's missing. And I keep sharing this. No one is willing to have the conversation with the lender, the title, or the signing company as to why do you structure your pay to us the way that you do. All I keep hearing is we're going to make them do this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your spouse can't even make you do stuff. Your spouse, your boo, comes and talks them out. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. No, we're not. I'm not doing that. When you have a situation where there's a couple and there's kids involved, and y'all have an agreement that Christmas or Thanksgiving, the kids are with this parent, and Christmas, the kids are with that parent. And then all of a sudden, the Christmas parent, like, no, I want the kids for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Hold up. What's the first thing gonna happen? We going back to court. I ain't gonna argue with you. We going back to court and we're gonna have a conversation and we're gonna let the judge decide. The person who got the authority, who have the ability to make this. But I feel that the kid need to be with me. So next year you can have them for both holidays. But I feel that I don't care about your feeling. What did the agreement say? The legal agreement that we both signed said, boom. So now you need to provide just cause as to modify that agreement. Then we need to have a conversation. And this is the thing that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to hear from the people they want to get money from, but yet you want them to hear you and do what you say. When you have your annual review at work, you listen to each other. There's a conversation. Okay, Fred, how you doing? This here's Bill. This here is Megan. We are the people who are going to talk about your performance review for the 2025 year, and we're going to let you know what percentage of raise that you're going to get. So based off of what we've seen in your performance review that you submitted to us, and after having conversations with these people here, boom, 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 we have determined that you do not qualify for a pay raise because the marks that we needed you to hit, you did not hit them. See, that's why y'all don't want to have a conversation with them, because y'all don't want them to tell you, oh, you ain't cut the mustard. And what my man said, do you think that they are scared to talk to the lender or title company and really get down to the right to the nitty gritty? Yes, I do. I believe they are afraid to do that because when you talk to them, and again, as I said in my TikTok post, when you see, we're talking about coming together as a group and telling the whole mortgage industry to do something for us. The mortgage industry is going to look and say, yeah, you cool with me, but he's not. She's not. Them folk there, they don't ever ship the documents on time. That person there act like they don't know how to correct things that they've done wrong. That person won't even pick up the phone when we call them because we just need to get an update. So you have people that's out here doing all kinds of stuff. And those are the people that's coming with you to them to say, pay me my money. And they look back and they're like, nah. Now, if you went there on your own, they might work with you to say, okay, we cool. Bruce Wilson, we cool. You know what? You're doing a great job for us. And because of that, this is what we're going to do for you. So your business has negotiated something with their business. You're talking about all of us trying to make all of them give us what we want. And if they aren't all on the same page, because let's just say the fee goes up, say we want the fee to be 150. Well, there might be a company that says, all right, that'll just be extra 25 for us. But for the other company, that's an additional 75. Nah, we ain't doing that. My business ain't structured to do that. See, these are all the factors that real business owners take into account when we're dealing with our clients. That's the thing. It says, I think those yelling the loudest are making themselves known as complainers. Companies may not want to. That is correct. There might be companies, but they're humans that run the companies, and those humans that run the company, like, you're a troublemaker. Y'all remember the story with the Living Single show? How the guy that played Kyle Barker said that he basically went to bat for getting more pay. And I think he was sharing that basically they left him out in the cold. His cast members, it was like, well, he was trying to speak on behalf of all of them, and they left them out in the cold. When you have people speak for you, you got to make sure they're solid. Do a background check on them. Do a mental assessment of them. Financial assessment of them. Because again, we don't really know each other like that. So for some random person to start talking about, oh yeah, I got you. I'm here for y'all. Are you? Or are you here for you? Again, in 2026, people are going to start asking these questions because you TMCs keep talking about what you're going to do for us, but everything that y'all want to do comes at a cost. And the thing is, the one thing that is missing that everybody's been telling me for the last 4 months is opportunity. They're like, I'm tired of the Canva classes. I'm tired of the Google My Business stuff. I'm tired of the get a pen, get pens with my names on it and all that. Okay, that's cool. How do I get business? How do I get selected for these opportunities? Not only that, you got to make sure that your stuff is 100%. That is right. You got, here's my question. The average fee right now is about $85. We'll get round it up to 90. The average fee is $90. Is the problem the fee or the frequency that we get paid? Because if you're making $90 a pop and you are doing, so let's run the math. Okay. Let me pull my screen up. So I know on the vertical it's going to be a little tight for y'all to see, but let me see if I can make that bigger. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that shows up right. So $90 a pop times, we'll just do 85. So you tell me, is that okay for you? $90, 85 appointments at that dollar amount, if you have the ability to do it. Okay. If you have the time and ability to do 85 appointments at $90, would you be okay? The issue isn't the pay. The issue is the frequency, like Bruce said. The issue is the frequency. How fast are we getting paid, or how fast we're not getting paid? The frequency is the issue, not the dollar amount. Because if you do enough at a particular dollar amount, you're going to make money. But how fast does it get to you? Now, and like Cabrina said, both. So if we want higher pay, then we need to find out from them what's prohibiting you from paying us. What is? I don't even know my math off the top of my head. What's holding you back from paying us $35 more? Because we'll just say 125 the fee. I want 125 a pop, and I want it within 3 weeks or 2 weeks. What is prohibiting you from being able to do that? Because now you're getting into their business practices, and they need to, and then you're asking them to tell you their accounting methods. And I don't know if they really want to do that. And why should they tell us, hey, this is how we got it set up. This is the way we pay. You either roll with it or you don't. Because now you're asking a $1 million company to adjust their pay frequency to accommodate us. There may be some reason for that. That hey, this is how we do it. It may be more economical for them. In other words, there's a fee that's associated with their payroll, and if they do their payroll or their payouts, let's say not payroll but payouts in 30 days, from the title to the signing company, and then the signing company says, well, we have a 30-day payout or 15-day payout. And it's more affordable for us because if we did it on a weekly basis, the cost is going to be greater because them ADP systems aren't cheap, and you want them to do it on a week. It might cost more to do it on a weekly basis, or it might be less, but I don't know. So there are these factors that are there, and nobody cares about them, and that's fine. You don't have to care about them, but it don't mean that they're not there. Just because you don't care about them or want to know about them does not mean that those things aren't there for you to take note of. Because when you ask them, why are you paying me like this? Why can't you pay me faster? Now they give you and they show you why. And it's like, okay, well, that's the truth. This is why you can only pay me in this manner. You either roll with it or you don't. What instant, how are you going to, because you don't have any way to get ADP to charge them less for their payouts. They only got 2 people in accounting. The number of batches. Yeah. They only got 2 people in accounting. One takes care of internal payroll, one takes care of external payouts. And both of them are overworked. And you know what they do at W-2s. Oh, well, I know you're doing payroll, but could you also help with scheduling? Oh, I know you're doing payroll, but we had asked you to get that notary certificate, that notary commission. Can you do a couple of closing for us? Now they're behind on payroll. Now they're behind on payouts. This is real stuff, people. And y'all think that folk are just sitting there with a money phone and they're like, oh yeah, we got all this money. There's legitimate reasons why they're paying the way they're paying. And a smart leader would have a conversation to get an understanding of what's going on with that company and come to some type of, well, okay, well, this is how we can work this. Okay. So there's no way around it. It's going to be 30 days. Okay. So the title's it's going to take them 30 days to pay to the signing company. And the signing companies, because of the way they're doing, it's going to take them 15 to 20 days, maybe even 30. So that's why it's, net 60. Okay. If they give you legitimate, what are you going to do? Nah, bump that. You going to pay me. We're going to embarrass you. We're going to tell everybody. We're going to put you on Front Street. We're going to put you on. Come on. All that for $35. I don't know what is going on with people financially, but I guess that $35 is going to be enough to help them keep their lights on. And they got to find a way to make people give them $35 and pay them every week. That's where we're at now. But what I also believe in 2026, these companies are going to they're going to start pushing back. And if you come into them with this sideways stuff and you come in with these unjustified and unrealistic demands, they're just going to cut you loose. And what that's going to do is open my business up to do more business. So you need to be mindful and careful about how you approach these individuals, companies, and how you roll up on them. Because if you think you can just, you think about it, you're $100 company dealing with really you're a 3-figure company dealing with a 5-figure company who supports a 6-figure company who supports a 7-figure company. So you got all these figures that are not against you, but that ain't gonna put up with you because they got too much at stake to listen to a 3-digit company tell them how they need to run their business. And you don't even run your own business and you just got started. You're just pissed that you bought into the lie that your TMC told you, and the truth of it is not happening. Oh, I thought it would be faster. Oh, I thought it ain't like I want. What did you think going into somebody's home was going to be? Well, it's smelly, it's stinky. They got dogs, they got cats, they got squirrels. Walked into a house and they had darn near 50 snakes in it. They had 50 snakes in that house. At least, because he said at one point in time they had 200 They had 200 snakes in their house, and they was just down to, I think he said 100 or maybe a little less, but nonetheless, that dude had that in his house, and I was like, And this is what he had in his house. I hope I can. Called a Gaboon Viper. This is what he had in his house. The head was as big as my fist, and the body was as thick as my forearm. And he had that little thing in there, and it was bigger than this. What he had in there was bigger than this. That was in his house when I walked in. And he was shocked that I knew. I said, oh, no, I know what the heck that is. And then we walked over to the kitchen. We get into the kitchen, wall to wall snakes. And I'm sitting there like, oh, heck nah. It was a particular, here it is. He had a particular viper in there, and I think he said he didn't have any antivenom for. Called a Mangsang pit viper. Beautiful. That's what he had in his house. I'm not saying that I was happy about it, but I dealt with it. Went in there, got it paid. So if you're looking for this business to be something where you're just in an office all day, okay, fine. But you know what? To be honest with you, I'd rather deal with that stuff than being in somebody's office, because the people in that office are a lot more deadlier sometimes than them snakes. They are a lot more deadlier in how they can really mess you up. They can lie on you and all that. The only thing a snake can do is bite you and kill you. And you say, well, man, that's true. But you can avoid that if it's in a glass enclosure. Them people in that office are not in a glass enclosure. They out on Front Street, and they're spewing all kinds of venom at you. They're doing everything they can to lull you in, and so so this is all you do is the loan closings from us. Oh, you must really make some good money. Wow, maybe I should do that. You know, to get that look like this. Yeah, I mean, what they're telling you is that we don't like the fact that you're making all that money and you only in here 3 days a week. And we're in here 5 days a week. And in 3 days, you're making just as much as me. I don't like that. And I'm going to say this, there's a racial component that is out there in this world. And there are black people that don't like it when white people are doing good. And there are white people who don't like when black people, there are Indian, there are Hispanic, there are people of one race that don't like it when another race is doing good. Hold on. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So that's what you have out here. And I rather, there's ways you can take care of a snake. Oh, that's what a snake is at. But once you agree to go into that office space, you put yourself into the pit. And they coming at you with everything. And then as a man, just being real with y'all, as a man, and you're in an office with a bunch of young ladies, you don't act the way they want. He did. You're a lady in an office with a bunch of men. Oh, you won't give them a time of day. You won't give them your number. Next thing you know, they talking all kind of smack about you. That's why I like being the freedom of being mobile, working with signing companies, the direct clients that I have. They don't care about me being in the office. They're like, hey, can you get this done? Yes, I can. Peace out. If I do go to their office, nobody bothers me. Nobody worries about, okay, well, wow. So you get $150 for these closings? Ooh, ooh. Wow, I wouldn't know what to do with all that money. I don't have any of that. But some of y'all are dealing with that kind of stuff, and you won't admit to it because you want to be it. You rather be in there than, and that's fine. That's yours. But not everybody is built for that, and I am not built for that anymore. At 58 years old, I am not built to be in that office environment anymore. You roll up, start questioning me, and this, I'm out. Ain't got time for it. In 2026, these companies aren't putting up with stuff. It comes at you from, you are right. You are right. It comes at you from all angles. All angles. So my question is this: what adjustments are you going to make so you can be successful in your notary business? I'm not saying don't listen to what people are saying out there. What I'm saying is you hear what they're saying. Now you're going to have to use deductive reasoning and logic and figure out whether this here is applicable to you. And then especially when you've already found your path and you're like, this is how I can make money in my area. Like one of the guys, I don't know if Joe is still in here, but Joe Haskins up there in Indiana. That man has found a path. He retired from corporate America and he has found a path within the last 18 months of how to be a successful notary business owner. Caprentice has done the same. I have done the same. So now anything that somebody tells me, you about to mess up my groove. See, the problem is that many of you have not done enough to feel successful in your business, or you will not accept the success that you had or that you have gained. You look at it as not being successful because you're comparing yourself to the wrong people. Compare yourself to yourself. Like Kobe Bryant said, compete with yourself. Don't worry about competing with them. See, you're comparing yourself. Well, yeah, I did 5 closings, this week. Man, they did 5 in a day. Oh man, I'm just a bum notary. No, you're not. You're not a bum notary. You are a notary who did 5 closings in 1 week, and you have more to grow, and you can grow from that. You can grow from that. You're a notary that recognizes that somebody did 5 closings in a day, and you can use that as a way to say, you know what, that's gonna be me soon, and then you work toward it. But nah, what y'all doing is somebody's telling you, I'm not a printing service. Nobody said you was, but printing is a part of the job. I'm not somebody's, courier. Then what the heck are you? You see what I'm saying? Well, that's too many pages for me to print. Okay, so now what you have to do is go all the way back to the Veteran Affairs or FHA or the reverse mortgage people, because those are the ones who have the 3 largest sets of documents, and tell them 3 entities to cut the pages down to something manageable. See, you're talking all that daggone smack and you whining about how many pages to print. There's a reason for those pages to be printed that way, because these people are going into a daggone legal agreement, a contract with, I'm not a legal contract with this person who says, I want $2.5 million to buy this property. I want 800,000 to buy this. You're trying to say that that entity, that lender, and that title company does not have the right to require them to sign as many pages as they want to get their money. Well, that's just too much for me. Then carry your hind parts on somewhere else. It's that simple. Move along. Stop causing mess. I'm not even gonna go there because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna semi go there. The mess that people try to start in people's businesses is the same mess they got going on in their life. Yeah, I said it. the mess that they're starting in people's business and getting them all riled up about stuff that they think is unfair is probably stuff that they're dealing with in their own personal life. You can't tell me that a person who is happy within their own life, when they see conflict and they see issues, they don't come up with something. Okay, let's come up with a roadmap to fix this, but it's in a non-combative way. A wife that knows how to get her husband to follow through on certain things, whatever those may be. A husband who knows how to have a conversation with his wife to get certain things done, whatever that may be. I have a hard time believing that that person, that his business mindset would be, okay, yeah, we're gonna bum rush them, we're gonna make them that. No, because if you have proper and successful communications and negotiations with your family member, you will carry that over into your business life. But if you have in your personal life a bunch of ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do, ain't nobody, nah, bump that, yo, let's roll. You're gonna carry that over into your business life. And there are a select group of people who have the ability to be straight street, hood, barrio, trailer park, countrified, whatever you want to call it. And then when they get into business, they know how to act right. There are some people who know how to do that. See, I'm not hood. Can I get, yeah, I can, but I'm not actual hood. I didn't grow up that way. I just know how to defend myself, but I'm not hood. I'll be honest. I'm not hood in the least little bit. More printing equals more dollars should be the yeah, it's a write-off. But see, my thing is what I'm trying to get people to do is to tell me what should be the maximum amount of pages for a VA loan. What should be the maximum amount of pages for reverse mortgage or FHA loan? Hmm? What is the maximum amount of pages that need to be created in order for that deal to be as Loctite secure as possible? Nobody can tell me. I'm just saying it's just a lot to be printing. I'm not saying it's not. I printed 359 pages for a reverse mortgage application. A portion of that was just for him to sign. The other portion was for him to keep. Within the day, I had 220 pages total printing twice. Drove an hour and a half all the way out in the boonies for 3 stacks. What makes it worth it or not worth it? The 359, I got 150 on that and only had to drive 30 minutes. 222 pages, 3 hours round trip for 3 stacks. I mean, what makes it fair? What is deemed fair? And nobody can answer that question. Or at least they won't attempt to answer it. We can't, if you don't like going into people's homes, then you got to give that part of the business up. But it don't mean that you won't go to the Starbucks and you won't be sitting with somebody who smells like straight funk. Missing teeth, bad breath. Not everybody's going to be a piece of China porcelain just for you, just so you don't feel uncomfortable, just so you don't get some griminess on you in your life. We are providing a service. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. And y'all take this however you want. But you know, doggone well, some of y'all go out looking like whatever. You come to the door when people knock on there looking like whatever, men and women. When I used to do Postmates in Grubhub, I'm like, why is this woman dressed the way I'm delivering? Why is she dressed like this? Cover yourself. I go to one guy, dude, I don't know what the heck he thought, but he had nothing but just chest hair and back hair all out, just dripping with sweat. I'm like, why am I seeing your chest hair and your back hair glistening in the sun? But there'll be the same people that become a notary and get upset that somebody's house is dirty. I'm not trying to put people down. I'm just saying this is just what I've learned in 7 years. I don't know what needs to happen for you to be happy in this business, but you need to find a happy place and go over there and be happy by yourself and leave the rest of us alone. Don't use us as your therapy session to deal with your personal problems because people will do that sometimes. They don't know how to be alone, they don't know how to deal with just themselves, and they need people around them to keep them stable, to keep them entertained, or whatever the case may be. That's why sometimes I purposefully will go a couple of days and not even do a video. To be honest with y'all, almost every day I record videos. I just don't post them. The thoughts that come in my head, subjects, and I'll do a video on it. And sometimes I'll post the video, but I won't even release it. That's just what I do. But almost every day I do record videos, I just don't post them. Dealing with all kinds of subjects. Subjects that I'm sure people oh man, why are you saying that? But sometimes I just got to get it out of my system, and it's like, okay, let me just, and I do a record, and I just record a video. And sometimes it might be a year later when I talk about that thing. Sometimes I record a video just so I can have record of what I said because I do so much running my mouth. So then that way I can go back, okay, yeah, I said that. Sometimes you just got to be by yourself. Sometimes you just got to go out here and do your thing, but it's up to y'all. I'm just saying there's going to be some changes in this notary business, whether you like it or not. There's going to be people holding us more accountable, as well as we should hold them accountable. But there's a way to go about doing it. And you have to sort of be mindful of what you're trying to hold them accountable concerning. There's just so much out here that a lot of people don't understand about this business and just business in general. And all I can say is y'all got to get out of the mindset of trying to run a business, but you want everybody who you interact with to treat you like you're an employee of their business. But yet you want to brag about your business owner, but you want them to treat you like an employee because you want them to look out for you. You want them to give you raises. You want them to give you cost of living allowance. I mean, I've heard all of this stuff for the last 3 years. You want them to look out for you, but yet you see what Amazon is doing to their people. You see what Target is doing to their people, UPS, FedEx. You see all these layoffs, but yet you're going to start a business, connect with a company, and then you want them to treat you like family. And you get upset that they don't take care and concern for you and that they're not doing stuff to make your life better. Why aren't they? I mean, I've done 5 closings with no errors for them. Why haven't they increased my pay? You get 85 a pop. I think I should get 125. Look at how much I've done. Well, that's not what we're going to pay you. How dare you? I'm going to that special website and tell them you're a deadbeat company. I'm going to hop on Instagram. I'm going to the Better Business Bureau. I'm going to make your life a living because you won't give me what I want. You're not looking out for me. I got bills to pay. Well, typically, that happens when you're alive, when you are an adult that is alive and that has a residence to stay in, a vehicle to travel in, electricity that needs to be used. That typically happens when you're in that space there. And you want me to be concerned and care why? Well, I'm just saying I got bills. Okay, I know you got bills. I know they got bills. I know yeah, okay. And well, you need to pay me more. So you want me to pay you more because you got bills that I ain't got nothing to do with. Why would a business owner trust you? Why would they have confidence that you are going to be a person who's going to do what needs to be done? Because if you can't handle your own, then you most definitely can't handle theirs. You cannot handle your own, but you want them to believe that you can handle theirs. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Let me get on up out here. Any questions? Any concerns? Any thoughts? Anything else y'all want me to address that I didn't? The cookies are good. Little peach cobbler shortbread cookies from Sam's Club. This thing's on point. I'm gonna go down here and fix me some food for tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about doing too much cooking. I can sit back and chill. Any questions? Any concerns? Um, Anything y'all want me to address or deal with? You say you are our grill, but did you ever have a grill? I got 2 sons. If you talking about do I have any sons? Yeah, I got 2 sons. Um, I hope I'm understanding that question right. Um, so is there any questions, any concerns, anything you want me to address or hear my opinion on? This is not me trying to bait y'all into anything. I'm just asking. Enjoy the rest of your evening time to drive to my last closing. Yeah, he's out there in California. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Um, yeah, because it's what? Oh, 10:37 here. So yeah, he on his way to his last one. And I ain't got nothing to do this weekend. I ain't got no closings, no house inspection. So I'm gonna get this space cleaned up because this is a mess. Yeah, I gotta get this cleaned up and work on some other stuff and all that. But again, if you want notary certificate training, right now we don't have no one signed up for this weekend, which I figured that was going to happen because it's getting close to Thanksgiving and stuff. So feel free to sign up. If not, this will be the last one for this weekend, and I won't be doing any more until December the 6th, the weekend of December 6th and 7th, and all of that. Yes, I need to do Ron. Is there anything specific concerning Ron that you want to know? That's a great. I believe that I have. I have not added it all up, but my main goal this year, it was just to be able to do 1,000 closings slash appointments overall. So 1,000 appointments this year. If it's 1,000 closings plus whatever else I did, the other non-mortgage work, that'll be great. I believe I'm very, very close to that. I hadn't really been properly keeping track of everything, but with the amount of work that I've been doing, I truly believe that I am at 1,000 for this year. And if I have time this weekend, I'll add everything up and figure that out. But that was my main goal. I wasn't so much concerned about the money because I knew the money would come. And recently I've been getting a lot of great orders that have been 150 or more. 150 or more. So the money is coming in. Of course, the frequency, that's the big thing. But I'm in a position where I'm making money and I'm making it with people who will pay me. So yeah. So like, these checks that I got this week, from direct clients, 150, 150, 200, then some signing service stuff, 85, 90. So I'm just doing what I can to bring money in. So it's happening. With the Ron, I would like to know, is there something specific that you want to know about? It'll help me to figure that out. I don't know what that is. Never heard of that token. If that might, okay, you must be talking about some crypto stuff. Token. I don't know anything about no crypto. Yeah, so if you're talking about that with Ron, yeah, I'm not. Nah, don't post no crypto stuff here. We ain't doing that here because I don't want people to be getting pulled into some mess with that and all of that. And my man in Indiana in the house. All right, so maybe this weekend I can sit down and show you Ron, and I use a system called Expedite, and maybe I'll be able to do that. I'll try that this weekend. Hopefully I should have time to do it and all of that kind of stuff. But other than that, we should be good. All right, y'all. Thank y'all as always for your time. Um, I know I covered a lot. I know I said a lot. I know it's gonna be some people that's not gonna be too happy with me and all of that. That's fine with me. The fundamental, okay. Um, okay. I will figure out what the fundamental is. Yeah, I will figure it out. All right. Y'all have a good one. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Stay safe out there. Go make the money you need to make and protect your business. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.